Hey friends, I'm Catherine and we are going to be doing a little bit of a floating painting today. Now I've done this once before with a sea turtle. I'll include a link right up here. You can go ahead and check it out. But today I think I want to go a little bit more classic. I'm thinking a sword with a rose vine wrapping around it. So let's pull this floating frame apart. It doesn't have to be a floating frame. You can use a regular frame that you just take the back off of, so long as you can fix the glass in without a backer on it. You should be good. But we will take this floating frame apart and set everything aside but the inner bit of paper here and one of the pieces of glass. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to draw our design on this inner bit of paper before we paint it. So the thought is a sword with roses trailing around it. So let's start at the top and draw a line down the center to the bottom. There we go, going over that tape there. And decide where we want the hilt to be, the crossguard to be. There we go. And then maybe it'll have like a round part there, and then this will maybe curl up and around like that. Yeah. So we're just working it out how we want the sword to look right now. And then maybe a kind of spiral. Like that. And then this part of the blade will also be, because this is a very long and large blade, we're going to do, they used to make this part dull. They didn't sharpen it so that you could grab it by the blade itself if you needed to. So we're just going to do like that and bring it out a little bit. That's what I was going for. That's what I was trying to describe with my words, but they were failing me. And then we'll bring it down further and then out just a touch and then down to the point. There we go. So like that. Same way, just coming down and then out and then in to the point. There we go. Sort of like that. That's a pretty good sword, I think. And then maybe a line down the center, right like that. This is just going to be a rough sketch. Okay, and then for some roses, I'm thinking starting here and going behind, and then in front, and then behind, and then in front, and then behind, and off. Okay, so there's our vine. And we can do a rose out this direction with maybe some leaves. And a rose off this direction. And right up here next to the hilt. And coming away, and maybe some leaves right down here, and a spray of leaves over here, and there. Although you're not going to be able to see it through the tape, I'll know it's there. And let's see. Definitely thinking I want more leaves than roses, but let's do one right there. And then something like that. And like that. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. That's a good enough sketch of an idea to be starting off with. So let's, with the sticky tape still being on there, stick that to the back side of our glass. Hopefully somewhat centered. Perfect. Okay. Stick it down well. There we go. That's making an adhesive spot. All right, and then let's grab out some paint. So let's see, I've got some white and some black, because those are always just a good idea to have. Then I've got some, let's see, so the white art is the Deco Art white. The black is the Apple Barrel Jet Black. I've got a Folk Art Minted Aqua. I love this color. I've got a Deco Art Sour Apple. And I'm kind of thinking I might want a darker green rather than that sour apple. So I think I'll swap out the sour apple for the Apple Barrel Christmas green. In fact, I will. And then for the rose, I've got Apple Barrel's Barn Red and Delta Cream Coat's Red. Let's see, those are actually very similar colors as far as those go. We'll change it up a bit. We'll see how it works out. And then I'm feeling like a brown for the hilt, so we'll grab up this Apple Barrel Light Mocha and see how that works for us. Okay, first thing that we want to do is choose a brush, obviously. Actually, let's see, let's start off with this dotting tool first thing. So let's take out the Delta Cream Coat Red and plop just a little bit on there. Start with a little bit and then some white. And I haven't even started painting yet, but my hands have already turned all red. That's okay. Okay. Now we're just going to mix those two together with our dotting tool and go through and put some highlights on the roses. Because the trick to doing the floating pictures, the floating frame pictures, is to paint them in reverse, which means anything that you'd usually put on over the top of the rest of your painting afterward, you put down first. So let's put some highlights on there around the outside edge of the rose. There we go. And then do the same thing for the rest of it. There we go. Okay. And then this one, just the same. All right. And then maybe some like inner petals right down in there. Go. And something like that. Okay, that's pretty good, I'm thinking. And then let's do the same thing for the green, the vines. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so let's pull out our Minted Aqua and put just a little dab on our palette. There we go. And then pick up a little bit with our dotting tool and just gently bring it along the edges of our leaves. There we go. Okay. And the tape on the back of this will actually help hold it in place in case I bump it, because last time I did this, I did end up bumping it and having it to realign it, which wasn't awful because I was able to get it realigned, but if I hadn't been able to get it realigned, could have been an unfortunate situation. Go. Okay, and then down here at the bottom, I think I actually, rather than a leaf, want to do like an outbursting, I don't know how to describe it, like a place where it's springing forth. Okay, and then just at like, I think, some points along the vine. Not everywhere, just some places. Like where it splits or curves or, you know, whatever. There we go. Okay. Coming along pretty nicely. Now, I think we want to do the same thing for the blade and the hilt. So let's start off with the hilt. We'll use a little bit of this light mocha. First thing, just as is. Just a tiny little dab over here. Rinsing off my dotting tool. Alright, and then a tiny little bit just to go along the top edge of each of these. There we are. And let's see, maybe some white along the edges of the blade and down the center. And right at the top of the hilt there, maybe a little bit of white. We're going through and doing all the highlights right now. The first thing, so let's put that there. And then come in along here. Right down that center mark that we lined out for ourselves. Okay, and we're going to be pretty heavy with the white, I think. Go. let's pick that up from where the vine crosses over it, just so that we don't end up with it showing the shine on the blade through the vine. Wouldn't want that to happen. But there we go. That's pretty all right. And then let's go through and put a top edge on each of these sections, and where the blade starts to curve outward. Okay, right through the point where it doesn't anymore. There we go. Same thing on the opposite side. Okay. All right, pretty good. Anything else? No, I think we can move on to our next layer. So let's put the dotting tool aside and grab out a little-ish brush. Thinking this one maybe. This one's pretty small. And get a bit more of our Delta Cream Coat Red. And a little bit of the Barn Red too, and see if we've got any appreciable difference on those. Yeah, they're different enough. So let's take the Barn Red first thing and now do our low lights, our shadows. So let's go around the bottom of each of the roses and lift it up. Bottom. Maybe right in the center. That could be good. Center, and then from the bottom up and out. Okay. There we are. And then our darkest green, so that would be the Christmas green for the vines and the leaves. And make sure the brush is not red anymore. Okay. And then do the same thing for the leaves and the vines. Dip into the Christmas green and do the shadow. The shadow. Sounds like a superhero name. Okay. Go. Something like that. All right. And then maybe a little bit along the opposite side of the vine from the highlights. Okay. Something like that. All right. Pretty okay. And then the dark parts of the sword. So we're going to go, oh, actually, the hilt, let's go ahead and pull out some of our black. And take some of the light mocha and a little bit of the black and mix them together to get a nice low light color. Although that's going to give us the gray sort of, which is actually not bad for like the base color on the sword, I'm feeling. But we'll see how it goes. And then we will do that right there. And then maybe some actual black for along the hilt. Let's pick up some black for the other side. And those blacks did not turn out to be equal. That's all right. It'll work out. Okay. Then some black along the under edges of the sword. The sides that would fall into shadow. There we go. Right there. And like that. And like that. Okay. So we've got that lined out pretty well, and then maybe right somewhat along the side of the center just to give it a little bit more definition and tell it we mean business and let it know who's boss. Excuse me. Okay, and then I was about to dump my paintbrush in my tea. That would have not been a happy thing. Hang on, let me have a little bit of tea. Ooh, that's nice. Spearmint. Nothing like a little bit of spearmint tea. Okay. All right. So then, what we're going to do is, with our actual red, we're going to put a gem in the hilt there. There we go. And that will echo the color of the roses. And then we're going to come through and fill in the roses behind our shadow and our highlights with our red as well, our nice solid red. I know it doesn't look like much because it's just all covered over in solid red, but that's part of the beauty and the wonder of this style of painting, because it doesn't look like much until you're finished and you turn it over and you reveal the painting underneath. Go. Okay. A little bit more. All right. I think that's doing all right. Okay. And then the hilt. So let's rinse out our brush again and go back to our light mocha, but this time only make it a little bit darker. So pick up just a touch of black, just the tiniest little touch of black, and mix it into that whole thing of light mocha, that whole blob there. There we go. That might even not be light enough. Let's put a little bit more of the light mocha down, see if we can get something a little bit lighter. There we go. That I like. That worked out. Okay. Mix it fully. And then paint over the entirety of the hilt with it. There we go. Okay. Now for the vines. I'm feeling somewhere between the Minted Aqua and the Christmas Green. So we'll just mix them together and see what we get. That is a lot of sirens going on outside. That's unusual. Alright, so just pick up the tiniest touch of the Christmas Green, because we can always make it darker, but to make it lighter we would have to add more, a significant amount more of the Minted Aqua. That's definitely not going to be enough of the Christmas Green, so we'll pick up some more and mix it in. And that is alright. That's pretty good, I think. A touch more maybe, just a touch. Tone it down a little bit. There we go. That's a color I like to see. Okay, so let's wipe off the brush and gather all of our paint into one spot, hopefully. Okay, and then paint over all the spots that need it. So anything that has vine, anything that has leaves, anything that needs a little bit of filling in, or filling out, or filling up. Okay. And I know I should probably be heading from the bottom to the top, but I'm not. So we'll see how it works out. Go, just fill that in, fill in there. Get it right up to the edge of the sword on both sides. We can cover over the white line a little bit, which is why we put that white line down first. And around. And we are going to definitely need a little bit more paint. Anyway. So let's put out a little bit more of that Minted Aqua. Mix in about that much, I think, and see if we end up something similar to our previous color. Pretty darn close. Okay. Finish that out. There we go. Something like that. Like this. Okay. And down to there. Okay. So something like that. That should be pretty good for the vines, I'm thinking. Go back through and touch them up a little bit. Okay. Get around the base of the roses a little. Alright, and then rinse out our brush and go for the blade of the sword. And for this, I really like that gray that we ended up with the light mocha and the black, so maybe I'll try a white and black mix first just to make sure I don't like that better. Alright, so take up just a touch of black and mix it in with my white. See, that's a more gray, which I like. It's not bad. It doesn't have that brown touch. That's okay. We'll put that down the opposite side of the center. No point in not using it. Actually, let's do half of it in this light gray, half of the sword in this light gray, and then we can do the other half in the brown gray. That, I'm feeling, is a good idea. That way it's got a dual tonality. I say that like I'm not just making up words. Okay. Something similar to that. Lay it on kind of heavy because we want it to be solid. Don't want it to be see-through. Okay, and then go over to the brown gray, which there might be enough here. Nah, that's dried. Okay, well, we will take a little bit of the black and mix it into our light mocha, and take a little bit more and mix it in. And that, I think, is a color I like, but I might want it a little bit darker. Just a touch darker, just the tiniest hair darker. Okay, that's good. I think that's something that we like. All right, let's do that for the other half. Okay, all the way down, making sure we get it on there thick so that you can't see through it. All right, and then once we get this finished and filled in, it'll be time for the reveal. So let's finish it in. Okay, did we forget anything? I can't see anything as being forgotten. I suppose we'll see when we turn it over. Okay, time for the big reveal. I'm going to pick it up. We're going to peel off our paper from the back and then turn it over. Well, the sword definitely needs to be filled in more, especially on like the light gray side, but that's pretty all right. Like that, loving that, how it turned out on the hilt. The vines are all right. The roses are fantastic, I think. Yeah, we just need to fill in the sword a little bit more. Okay. So let's see if we can't dump a little bit more paint onto it. All right, we're gonna have to mix up some more of that light gray then, huh? It's okay. Put a little bit more white out. Take just the tiniest amount of black and mix it in. And get something of a similar enough color, close enough, that we can go ahead and just dump it on. And who knows, if this color ends up being just a little bit different, it might give it a little bit more texture, which is really what ends up being awesome about these backwards glass paintings, is how much texture they end up with and how the brush strokes show through and how the paint, if it's not quite dry, dissolves a little bit into the next layer, which I think is really what ends up being beautiful about the whole thing. Let's see if we can't get that thick enough on there, or if we can get it thick enough on there anyway. All right, pick up the last little bit of it, lay it on. All right, and then flip it over and see how we did. That's definitely more solid. I like that a lot better. Okay, and then the other side. Let's see if we can't get some of that taken up and lay it on. We might end up having to mix up a little bit more of that as well, but we shall see. All right, let's turn it over and see what we ended up with for that top part. Nice, good and solid there. Okay. Okay. Probably gonna have to mix up a little bit more of that, but that's all right. Oop, that's gonna be too much. I'm gonna have to get out more black now. That's okay. We will make it work. Okay. Something like that, maybe even with a little bit more black to it. There we go. That's a color we can work with. Okay, and then lay that on. Okay. All right, and then turn it over and see what we've got. That's pretty solid. I like it. All right, that is what I did today, friends. I painted a sword with roses on a piece of glass. So it'll float. You'll be able to see it sitting off of the wall, but in a frame. It's gonna be awesome. If you guys liked this, definitely let me know. If you have other things that you would like to see me do, other things that you would like to see me paint or see me paint as floating art, definitely let me know. I am always open to new suggestions and ideas, and I would love to hear from you. I'm posting videos every single day, so there's always something new to come and check out. And if you are interested in seeing whatever I'm working on that day, remember to hit subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye!